I am the Highland scribe, scribe to the stones, to the winds, to the bloodlines that walk unseen. Come closer, closer still. You see, the fire's warm, but this tale tonight, well, this tale runs wild. Now, afore there were maps, before there were any names fixed upon the land, there were beings older than memory itself, and in the Highlands of Scotland, among the lochs that sit dark and still beneath the mountains and hills, there lives a creature, Kent as the Kelpie. A water spirit, you ken. A shape-shifter, if you may. Most often it comes as a horse, and it's as black as peat water, its mane dripping, with loch water, eyes like moonlit beams. But at times, where it wishes to lure rather than drag, it can take the form of a man. Beautiful, gentle spoken, kind enough to make you forget that water does not love the living. Kelpies are bound to their lochs, you ken, bound by the old magic and bound by bargains made before human law ever existed. And though some tales do paint them as monsters alone, the truth can be darker than cruelty. They remember, you see, and the loch, well, it remembers with them. This isn't a story of a foolish girl who strayed too close to the water's edge. This is a story of love that should have never been touched, and a warning whispered, not shouted, because the most dangerous thing, you see, the most dangerous things, they never raise their voices. This story was passed to me by my granny, and to her by hers, and spoken low by firelight when the wind pressed hard against the walls and the nichts drew in closer. And each one claimed it was true. Now, you see, her name was Iara, named for the east wind, restless and curious, born of movement. She was a traveller lass, and as her folk had always been, living light upon the land, following the seasons, sleeping beneath the stars in a canvas bough tent o' willow and hide. She kent the old ways, and how to read the sky, and how to listen to the ground, and how to never camp alone. But unfortunately one night, she did just that. And the loch, you see, the loch never forgot. For land and water hold memory long after people fade. Iara was 17. She was young enough to believe the world was still gentle, I suppose. And she'd set her camp at the edge of a secluded loch, hemmed in by trees, of course, so thick that the moonlight barely touched the waters. The air was unnaturally still. There were nae birds and nae beasts, no even a breath o' wind, only water and silence. She brewed nettle tea over her small fire and wrapped her feet in wool, and she settled into the quiet. She didna ken it, but she was being watched, fae the deep below the surface, where the light doesna reach. And when dawn came, the sky burned pink and red across the hills, and Iara opened her eyes, and there she saw him. Curled at the loch's edge lay a man, soaked through and shivering with a cold. Fear caught in her breath. She had been raised on the old warnings. Beasts live in lochs, but no all wear claws. Still, she approached him with care. His skin was as pale as mist, his eyes, with the colour of sky before a storm brew. And when he spoke, his voice sounded like the wind skimming across the waters. He called himself Calian, and she gave him warmth and food and shelter by her fire, and he stayed. Days passed, and he helped her gather wood, and he listened as she sang the old songs meant to be sung outdoors, so the land could hear and remember. He spoke of stars, of longing, of wanting more than what the place he came from offered. Slowly, softly, easy at first. Not like the stories told now, of course, not all at once, but like rain seeping into the moss, quiet and inevitable. He brought her wildflowers, gorse and bluebells, tied with the grass. Oh, she laid them beside her at night, and never knowing the flowers placed near water are a promise whether you mean them to be or not. As evening darkened and the loch grew blacker still, the mist began to linger, you see. Oh, and one night, Calian sat watching the fire, the flames reflecting in his bonny eyes. "I wasna always like this, you ken," he said to her. I come for the water, but I want more. I want you." Yara, she did not run. She took his hand and she whispered, "Then bide here with me." And for a heartbeat, the world seemed to pause, as though love might be strong enough to break ancient bindings. But the loch doesna forget they're dead, and they do not release what belongs to them. And that night, the mist didna lift, and Yara woke to silence. There was no fire, no warmth beside her, and the waters began a rippling. Out in the loch stood Calian, waist deep and still as stone. Before him was another figure. His bride. Not a woman, not truly. Her hair floated as though still submerged, and she cast no shadow. Her eyes were empty, endless. She opened her arms, and the loch answered her call. "I was promised," Calian said, sorrow heavy felt in his wee voice. "And I broke that promise the night I met you. Now she has come. She has come to claim me." And he stepped into her arms, and the loch swallowed them both. Yara screamed his name, and she took a step forward. A hand seized her wrist, and an old man stood beside her, wrapped in grey, iron charms clinking softly against his chest. "Dinna," he warned. "You'll nae return. That was a Kelpie, you ken. That's a Kelpie that you've been tangling wi'. Gentle maybe aye, but cursed just all the same." He pressed a piece of cold iron into the palm of her hand. "Keep this," he said, "and tell others to bide away for this loch. It is a place o' the damned." Then he vanished as quickly as he came. Yara returned to her people, but grief, it clung to her like damp wool. She walked the loch's edge day after day. Then one morning, she just simply didn't come back. You see, her tent, oh, it stood untouched. At the entrance lay 3 candles. There was one for herself, one for Calian, and one for the next soul who comes too close. There are stories, of course, of what actually happened to her. Some say that she drowned, others say she fled. But others, well, we know better. We think that she walks that loch still, watching, waiting, as a warning, you ken. Now, my granny said that Iara was of our kin, and she gave me 3 vials of water for that loch. They're on my shelf there, for protection. And she told me this. If you ever find a loch hidden deep amongst the trees, where no a bird sings, and a single stone bears a horseshoe o' iron, run. Because if you dinna, there's a voice that micht follow you, soft, familiar, and loving. Nae here, lassie, nae this place. A woman with dark hair and wide eyes would be warning you to bide awa. Because you see, fae beneath the surface, the Kelpie bride waits. And Keelian with him, of course. You see, some love stories live forever, even the ones that drown. And not all Kelpies are cruel. But well, that is another tale for another night. I am the Highland scribe. Scribe to the stones, to the winds, to the bloodlines that walk unseen. And until the candle lights again, sleep tight, wanderers.